Okay, I actually just made, like, I have to record this video, like, again, because I got called, and I'm just going to record it anyways because I got sidetracked too often. Anyways, this is Aaron Klein. I am back with video 2. Last time I said I was going to talk about my opinions on capitalism. I'm postponing that because it's going to be this is one of the cruxes of my core beliefs. It's a derivative of one of the cruxes of my core beliefs, so I'll push it back a video because that will be a huge set of videos that will encompass this crux. But yeah, today we are actually going to talk about inflation and hyperinflation, which is happening. We kind of started to touch on it, and I kind of gave some of the consequences of it in the last video towards the end. But today I figured we'd talk a bit more about just inflation, what's going on with our country. I am still watching a fire. Let's see if I can get this correctly. I am so bad at this. Yeah, you can see it. There we go. I am not used to a camera. Ta-da! Okay, anyways. So, about inflation. It's been going on for a while, and realistically, we've been setting up to hyperinflate for a long time. This has been going on since I was in elementary school, and I had some idea of what was going on when I heard the debt hit $2 trillion and $3 trillion when I was in middle school. We really started to kick things into gear around the Bush era, and this is one I really don't like being associated with him if you ever decide to call me a Republican, because yes, I am a bit more right-leaning, but we'll get to that at a later date. There's a reason why I like being called independent, and that's just one of 1,000. It's a small one, but it should be a bit bigger. Yeah, I'm literally, if you can't tell, I'm holding a phone camera. So this is all unscripted, but I have an opinion and it should be said. Hyperinflation, what really pushed us into hyperinflation was the pandemic. Let's be honest, our response to it, I should say. The pandemic, we could have blown over it. Yes, it was going to kill a lot of elderly people, but all we needed to do was keep them isolated until we got the vaccine and gave them that. Yes, it sucks for them, but at the same time, if they want to live, they need to isolate themselves. And they're clearly, throughout history, the older generations have always agreed to sacrifice themselves for the younger generations. Even more recently, when the huge tsunami hit Japan, I forget, it was back in I forget what year it was, but the older generations were the ones that went in there to shut down the reactors that Japan was using when the tsunami hit. Just throughout history, that's just the way it is. Parents do not want to be burying their children. It should be the other way around. Every parent will agree to that. Why would I ever want to bury my own child? I'm not married or anything like that, but I'm just saying, to prove a point, why would you ever want to bury your own child? That hurts even more. So, clearly that's one of the main responses. That's one of my huge takeaways. I hate the way our nation responded to the pandemic. Anyways, back to this idea of hyperinflation. First of all, we're not even going to talk about the current consequences because land, food, everything's increasing in price. My family's trying to buy a house so I can move back down there, and that is, oh boy, that's crazy. We specifically know, we are very good friends with a couple down there that do property, they are realtors, and we were looking at a house that was going for roughly $178. We were pre-approved to go for $175, so this is yeah, we could probably bid them down or bid our bank up or whatever. Anyways, he said we're not even going to look. He said that odds are it could go up to people are going to bid higher than the asking price, and it could go up to $250,000 for this house. And I'm over here like, yeah, that sounds about right. Because, like, everyone who has a brain is going to, once they see all this mass printing of money, is going to be like, yeah, my money's getting close to worthless soon. I'm going to ditch it and put it into something that will maintain value even though my dollar's going down. So get rid of it now and enjoy my property. In case you're wondering, that's what Bill Gates is doing. That's what he's done. I should say done, because he's basically already done everything he needs to do, but he's just continuing to do it. He's bought a lot, and I mean a boatload of farmland. Clearly, if people are ditching their American dollars, they know it's going to get even worse. We have printed something like 30% of all American dollars in the last year. I think it's probably closer to 40. And then on top of that, our gross GDP our gross debt to GDP is something like 1.3. That means that there is no way we can currently pay back our debt. Like, simply put, there's no way we can currently pay back our debt. And we are continuing to print money, and we will continue to print money as long as our economy is shut down because of COVID. Yeah. And this is where I'm going to go back to the previous recording of this video. First of all, we have been prepping for I think I said this already. We've been prepping for this since Bush, and we just had a precedent that we can just print money a lot and go into huge amounts of debt. That was when America started flexing, because that's when we knew enough countries were on the US dollar that they just had to live within any amount of debt we built up. And that's why we went into Iraq. Because one, we needed them to switch to the US dollar. Like, we needed them to switch to the US dollar. And then two, this is where it gets really criminal, where I bring up fascism. Our government put us into war so that way we could get the banks that we were using into those countries. Yeah, this is literally fascism. The merger of state and corporation for mutual economic growth. So, like, our politicians are getting rich off of corporations, and the corporations are getting rich off of the evil things our politicians are doing. And in case you're really wondering, yes, we are basically fascist by now. Like, we are under an authoritarian regime. President Biden signed 42, and in the first month, 42 executive orders. Like, we thought Trump, when he signed like 2 or 3 in the first month, was fascist. Like, we thought he was being crazy authoritarian by signing 2 in the first month. I forget however many he signed, but Biden signed 42. We are in a fascist government right now. Like, no one's actually saying it, but we are. Like, it's the hush word. Don't say this. You will probably get banned. This channel's just up and growing. If I get banned, so will be it. I will just... Oh, yeah. Lighting's awful because the sun's going down. I will just be okay. This is just an adventure to start complaining about the way society's functioning right now. Yeah, I'm still watching that fire. Yep. Anyways, what was I gonna say? So, yes, if you ever look at an authoritarian regime, they always enter there's like 3 major red flags, and they are all back to back because they are all causational from like one to the next to the next. First one is hyperinflation. Second one is food shortages. Third is censorship. Those are the 3 major things that you need to watch for. And usually it's causational, that food shortages come really quickly after hyperinflation, but we're not quite there yet. It'll probably take a year or 2 because we still have a whole bunch of farmers and it'll just spread locally. Thank God. Thank you, God, for making us have, like, for providing so many farmers and so much food for us. So yeah, if you really want to know how we got here, the very, very, very short answer to that is complacency. Yes, that's a mean word to say we were all lazy. And you know what? We are. Because no one voted out the people who have been sitting in office for 50 years and who just sat on their butts, and like the people who are on office screwed over our country long before I was born. Like, we put them there before I had a voice. And now that corporations have bought these politicians out, before I could vote, my voice does not matter nearly enough as a single individual when I go to the ballot box. That's how you know we are pushing into an oligarchy. That was back before Bush. That was probably way back in the time of Nixon. Yeah, that's a good place to put it. Darn it, I have to put my face into the sun to get a good lighting now. Whatever. Anyways, we've been prepping since back then. People have gotten, I wouldn't necessarily say, yeah, I will say it, lazy, complacent. Yeah, whatever goes. We've been doped up on high fructose corn syrup, and we've been plastered with all sorts of sex on television. Yes, sex sells, and yes, it makes us dull. And yes, it consumes our lives to sit at a television and watch it for 4 hours. Right now I'm living with my aunt. She is well past retirement age. She's 70 something, I forget. Most of my aunts are 70 plus. I will definitely say that. My aunt, she's probably almost 80. She watches television probably for 8 to 10 hours a day. And we talk during commercials because she needs something to keep her interested. And to be quite fair, she likes the companionship. I like the companionship. I can write books in between. I have like 5. I need to like settle on one, just write and get a whole book done. I have one book done that I'm just never going to publish because it is bad. It needs rewritten completely, but a book, one done. I have one on the way, so that's 2. I know which book I'm going to settle in and write, and this one I might publish. We shall see. Anyways, our economy is busted in a bad way. I'm not talking like busted game mechanics. I'm talking like our economy's just busted. Like, the game is broken. It's rigged. We saw that with, first of all, we could tell back in Occupy Wall Street. We could tell when everyone's houses just dropped in value. We could just tell, like, this entire time, if you haven't been able to see, like, our money has been manipulated, heavily manipulated. Not as brazenly as China has been manipulating their currency, but we've had our money manipulated for quite a while. Not nearly as long, but this is one of the issues with capitalism. This is literally going to be my next video, guys. Our money's been manipulated, and now it's manipulated to the point where, like, first of all, everyone has to use it, and then now we have racked up enough debt that we're not going to be able to pay up. Like, I think the world is going to turn on us, and, like, don't be mad at me. I think right now we are already in a, like, it's been going on probably for the last, 10 years. We've already been in a 5th generational war, like a 5th generational civil war. And that's why our country's been so torn apart. And, like, clearly China's been investing into it. Like, clearly China's pushing liberal ideas. They've bought out a lot of universities. They literally fund scientific research in our universities and expect to get the results back. And then they push these feminist ideas. I have nothing against the original feminist push, but this is like, we'll get to that later. But right now, like, clearly China has been pitting us against ourselves, so we will tear ourselves apart. Now, the main issue, this is the main issue. People will eventually just stop using the American dollar, and we will collapse. Like, our currency will die immediately the moment countries stop using the American dollar. The moment a country says, no, we are not accepting that as payment, you will give us something else in exchange, it's over. Like, poof. And it's going to happen the moment a country stops needing oil. Yeah, there we go. It's been stated before, like, our country's biggest, the biggest thing backing our money is oil. We rely on the American petrodollar, like the whole world does, and that's what's been pushing us. So when a country eventually stops using oil enough that they can say, no, we don't accept this as payment because you guys have racked up too much debt, our economy just collapses. I mean, it'll take a bit, but then everyone else will say, yeah, no, we don't like your overspending, and saying, everyone, just, we owe you. We're never getting paid back, so we're not going to accept this currency because it's dead. When that happens, our economy collapses, because there's no way. That's just allergies. I'm outside, duh. There's no way that our economy is going to survive when other countries don't invest back into us. So, if you're watching this, we're printing a bunch of money, and we have a bunch of debt, and our money's going to become worthless. Invest into property or cryptocurrency. I'm not a financial advisor, but I do see the signs. I love the idea of owning property, and I want to, because I want to have my own safe place where the government can't come in and violate my rights. I mean, they'll do it anyways, but like, at least once the American dollar collapses, I'll have something that I own. This is a huge reason why I am a 2A advocate. Oh, there's a dog. Sorry. I'm a huge 2A advocate. You need to be able to protect your property and yourself and your family. Like, simply put, like, someone wants to come in and raid your house and kill you because they have guns, but you're a law-abiding citizen, and say, oh, I don't have guns because they're illegal here? Yeah, no. We need to have guns because our currency is about to collapse, and everyone's just going to start raiding things because it's all worthless. Like, there's no way we can buy it, so just take what you can. That's literally what's going to happen in the U.S. Yeah, and then it will be back to, like, second generational war with projectiles, but like, our economy is going to collapse, so we're going to collapse. That's just how it is. The issue is, until then, we are going to be under an authoritarian regime. Get your guns so that way they realize their officers that they send are at risk of losing their lives, and if they realize, oh shoot, every house is going to have guns, and we don't have enough officers to take them all. Like, seriously, like, they'll all just die. And we can't pay the families, so that's just how it is. Yeah, that's literally going to be the way we stop the authoritarian regime. We all just get guns and say, no, you're not going to take away our guns, and then you're not going to tread on our rights. That's literally how this is going to have to go. And no one is going to be able... Like, if you don't get on board with that idea, you're literally one more person they can start taking stuff from. Like, literally, that's just how it is. We need to start being able to produce our own food for when that starts becoming too expensive. We need to start being able to protect ourselves. And quite frankly, because... yeah, I'll just say it. I'll be bold about it. Because culture starts upstream. Like, culture, like, if you want an ideal to get passed through society, you start it upstream at culture, and it goes down to the people, then through government. And then it's a feedback loop, because government will pass those laws, and then that ideal will be pushed through even harder. Um, you really should start like pulling your kids out of school and start homeschooling them. Like, if you want to protect your future and their future, you need to protect them from the people that are doing this to us. And because they are government employees, it's literally a feedback loop, and it's getting worse. So yes, the teachers that you're sending your kids to are literally being paid by the government to push these ideas. So it's a cyclical thing, and the only way to stop it is to pull all the kids out and crush and make your own culture. Like, that's just how it's going to have to be, because right now we have a whole bunch of Black Lives Matter stuff going through schools. There's critical race theory going through schools. Like, schools are extremely racist right now. It is just as bad as back when blacks were being oppressed. It is very wrong. Yeah, that's another video. But like, I'll provide articles when I start talking about that stuff. But like, you would be surprised what's coming out of New York and what's coming out of California, and it's bad. We're not even going to bring up how bad the politicians are, because they're all being investigated now. Like Cuomo, first of all, he's like, the media is using a different way to kick him out of office than what they really want. They've shifted from mass murder to sexual assault. That's literally what they're doing right now. The media is blasting sexual assault and get Cuomo out of there because they don't want people to see that he's killed that many people. He's going to resign very soon. You can. I don't have money to put on it because I'm poor and living with my aunt, but and I really don't gamble. But anyways, you can almost put money on that he's going to resign very soon, and they will hold a special election to put someone new in who's just not going to be doing that. Probably some femboy dude that will obey them and be like, where's my check? I'm going to sit here and just do what you tell me, and you can pay me under the table and continue keeping me in office. That's how it's going to be. Yeah, that's going to be in the next month. That is my prediction. Like, no one's predicting anything anymore, and like, with our society, that's just how it is. This is what's going to continue to happen. If someone screws up this big, they're just going to replace them with someone that's even weaker and should be kicked out of office. We need strong men with integrity to sit in these offices that actually care about serving the people. And there we go. I mentioned the word integrity. Darn it, I was hoping to say it, but that's the crux. Watch the next video, please, because that's leading to the next video. Integrity in economics. Believe me. Actually, no. I think I will push that to the next one, because this is, you need to understand the crux of integrity to understand why it fixes a lot of problems. And it's a beautiful way to fix the problems. And like, this is where I say it fixes the world, but not quite entirely, because there's still going to be evil people. But this is the start. This is why Gandhi said, if you want to be the change, like, if you want to change the world, be the change in it first. We need to have a check-in with ourselves about the integrity of the people we are putting in positions of power. Like, seriously, that's just how it is, and it's just not happening. And that's why that's literally going to be the next video. Why integrity is so necessary for the survival of a society, regardless of how it makes its money, regardless of, like, it's pervasive. You need integrity in order for the society to survive, and our integrity very quickly fell. Like, it's been dying for the past 100 years. Like, you can see that in our presidents. There's been plenty of presidents that have been caught with their pants down, literally in the Oval Office. Bill Clinton, to name one. There have been presidents figuratively caught with their pants down. Nixon, for spying on the Democratic Party. Like, there's a reason why I do my best to stay out of politics, but it's for the reasons of the politicians, not the message. I hope you enjoy my content. Please feel free to argue back with me. I'm not looking at it. I can't really look at the camera easily. Yeah, there it is. I can look directly at it, but it's like over on the left side, like right in my left hand, because I'm using a phone camera and I'm shooting sideways like this. But yeah, feel free to give me feedback. I will probably make an answer video like way later down the line to some of the bigger questions, but for right now, this is a good place to start. So I'm just going to give a recap of the first two videos. The first one is the issues with the lockdown. The second one is literally one of the issues that was brought up, hyperinflation, and where that leads. Yeah, we are already in an authoritarian regime. We are in a fascist authoritarian regime, and it's not called the Nazi Party. It is called the Establishment Party, and quite frankly, yes, the Democrats have the face, but the Republicans are in there too. I'm not going to name names, but a lot of Republicans lack that integrity. So you just see a whole bunch of politicians just eating out of the hands of corporations. It's disgusting, and we should be disgusted by it. Thank you for your time, and goodbye.